Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. This is the first ESPN stop of the year. It's the Race for 8, where the men's semifinals is about to go live right around the corner as we have Killian, Carroll, and Luis Cordova. Luis Cordova won this tournament last year, and Killian Carroll's our #1. In the booth with me, it's Dave Fink, as we're getting ready here, Dave, for this marquee match. And you can see already it's 0-0 with Luis Cordova getting that first serve.
Well, it's a repeat of last year's upper bracket where Luis Cordova beat me in a tiebreaker in the quarterfinals and went on to face Killian in the semifinals, the #4 versus #1 seed. Last year, Killian lost to Luis Cordova for the first and only time in his career. That was in 2 games.
Second serve.
As you said, Luis went on to win the tournament. Now, I don't know how much Luis is going to have left after that match this morning, but we'll find out here.
He looked like he was laboring after that match, and I know that you felt a little verve energy loss in your knees as well, but I mean.
Well, Killian is going to start serving left-handed, which is unusual. But he had a lot of success serving left-handed in his quarterfinal win earlier this morning against Emmett Pashot.
It's interesting because he hasn't even mentioned his shoulder hurting at all.
Has he said anything this time?
No, I've asked him about it. He said he feels fine, but then he just leads off left-handed. Is that for nostalgia purposes from Salt Lake?
I've watched him, and I've noticed that he's not fully releasing his right-hand swing. And I do see some, and you could see it right there. That should have been a whip shot, and instead he punches it. But I've seen a lot of sort of half swings and 50% swings where normally he would really whip through the ball with his right.
Well, I've seen a lot of unforced errors with that right hand. And I know that you witnessed a lot of hand errors and just crazy weird points in his last match, but yet he still wins.
Right. He made 12 errors in that first game against Emmett after he took an 8-0 lead, and he still won the game 15-8.
Play 0.
That was a terrible error there from Killian. Nice start here for Lucho, who's really in the driver's seat. Looked like he turned his ankle late in that 3rd game in the quarterfinals, but doesn't seem to be an issue here.
3 0.
Both of the Cordova brothers seem like they're beat up right now, but fighting through it.
But for our Patreon subscribers, they got to live the Lucho-Killian rivalry through Lucho, who talked about that rivalry just a couple weeks ago.
0 play 3, 0 play 1, 0 play 3, sorry.
Said he doesn't really consider it much of a rivalry since he's only won once, but does acknowledge that they have very exciting and grueling matches. I mean, you think about the match of the year last year, and these two produced 3 in the top 5, you'd have to say.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting when they talk about that word rivalry. I know that you have to get wins against somebody, but if everybody loses substantially to one individual, but the only one that can take him to tiebreakers, the only one that's beat him, you know, you'd say Sean Lennon and Luis Cordova give him the hardest time at that. So you would say rivals in America. Now in Ireland it might be completely different. But those are the only ones that really seem to push him.
Well, you think about the match in San Francisco where Cordova led 13-0, ended up losing that game, then forced a tiebreaker. Then the match in Salt Lake City where it was another very close tiebreaker, 15-11 in favor of Carroll. And then earlier in the season, as we said, Luis Cordova defeated Killian. So
1 play 3.
If not a rivalry, very exciting matches, that's for sure.
Yeah, however you want to define it. When we see it on the scorecard, we circle it. Well, Luis, as you found out today and you've already known, he plays a punishing game. It's your body feels wrecked when you get done playing that guy. Hits heavy balls, he pushes you around, he's a thug, and it's tough to play him.
Well, he makes a lot of gets. I think that's what really is what creates that fatigue playing him, is he extends rallies. He really anticipates, and he can just get to just everything.
You see Killian upset with himself. He hit a terrible serve, got bailed out, and then hit a flat mouse with his right hand, and then he turns around and he shrugs and he's upset.
Well, Killian has not located his left-hand serve yet in this game, but I think Killian plays better when he commits to playing left-handed. He plays more aggressively with his left like that.
That's unreal.
And I think that's his best shot during the rally, is that left-hand sidearm kill.
4, play 3.
So terrible start for Killian, and he's still in the lead.
Yeah, but to tell you how good Killian is, you said it. You hit the nail on the head. In that he has to fully commit to play left-handed. I mean, you just have to have the left-handed mentality. I'm going to go out there and play left-handed. And that doesn't mean that he's not going to hit it with his right, but it just means that he knows that this is going to be the workhorse. And he's committed to it here in the last couple shots, clearly, because it is really aggressive.
That's a great get from Lucho.
This is unbelievable.
Set up.
What a great way to close that one out for Lucho.
Impressive stuff there, Dave, to say the least.
Look how Luis just
3,
stands in
play
one
5.
spot just waiting for that ball. Perfect
hold on.
shot. He knew exactly
3,
what he
play
can do
5.
before it even hit the front wall.
Short. Second serve.
That was just a freebie for Lucho, who just hit a nothing serve. Killian rushes it and pops it
4,
way
play
up off the
5.
back wall. And the top bracket, Dave, has gone. That's a nice pass. Pretty much as expected. You have the 1 and 4 seeds who are favored to be here, but the bottom bracket's
5,
really
play
been
4.
blown up. I mean, number 3 seed Daniel Cordova is there, but on paper, I think Martin Mulkerns was the favorite to come out of that number 3 slot.
Well, you know I'm not a betting man, but I would have bet that Martin Mulkerns was going to be in the finals and probably have a chance to win it.
Well,
a good chance to win it.
Right.
He didn't even make it out of the round of 16.
Yeah. And the guy who beat him lost.
4, play 5.
And he looked great. And he had many opportunities to be in this position. It's an interesting tournament so far, and that ball just goes the opposite direction.
Well, there's bad bounces on that front wall, and Killian noticed it, and he's now asking for it.
It's really hard to tell with that ball. I mean, it looked okay to me. It just
There
kinda
are
hopped
bad
away,
bounces off that front wall. There's,
Point.
and that's clearly what happened
Together
there.
at 5.
Yeah, there's these grooves. There's like little divots in the front wall, and sometimes the ball will hit it and go in a different direction. It's not the ball's fault.
Second serve.
Usually it is, but it isn't.
No, it's
here.
not. And we've seen some referees recognize those bad bounces. This referee did not see that one, however.
6, play 5.
And Luis really backed into that serve and took away Killian's shot there.
That's one of Luis's strong points.
Backing in after the serve.
Yeah. No, he does it well, and the referees don't call it, and that's a broken ball. Nope.
Well, that's one of those
Second
divots
serve.
on the front wall. It hits one of those strange spots, Dave, and it sounds like it's broken.
Just air releasing from the divot itself.
Oh, I knew you'd have a scientific explanation for it. Is
'cause
that avoidable?
No.
Okay.
Killian's just being blown out of the water here.
And is this starting to feel like last year? I can tell you, Dave, 3 years in a row we've been at this tournament. It feels like deja vu each year, the way these matches have gone. I know for me, but just even for the rest of the draw, last year was Lucho winning game number 1, 15-8.
No, I mean, there's a really good possibility that we're going to see a replay of last year, which is just an odd thing to see anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too odd that the number 3 and number 4 ranked players, or number 3 and number 2 ranked players on the Pro Tour would be playing each other. That's not odd, but they only play in Atlanta, where they call home, their home court.
Like time stands still here at this club, and when we come here and you don't know if it's 2016 or 2019, things just seem to fall into place the same way each year.
8, play 5.
But we're really early here, and see, that's the back end right there. That's the back end I'm telling you about. If the referee's never going to call it, you might as well just
8-5.
keep doing it.
Well, he thinks he's standing in the service box when he's getting hit.
Well, he's not.
No.
Even if he was, I'm not. That ball skipped. Or I'm broke. Usually when a ball breaks, it doesn't break into 15 little pieces. That one did. In your match in the round of 8, Lucho stepped out in front of you in an intricate point in the tiebreaker when it would have been and should have been an avoidable hinder, not called by the referee. Referee's logic was that, and I always despise hearing this from referees, is that you could have gone around him. When I hear that stuff, I just want to, I don't know, but it just, it's infuriating. It's like, wait, the guy that's shooting the ball has to change his shot because the other guy's in his way? No way. That's not how it works.
The defensive player has no rights on the court. That's the way the rule book states it. Wow.
No, look at that.
Nope.
Oh, my goodness. If he would have got that one back.
8-5. Second serve.
This is game number 1. It's best 2 out of 3 to 15. Win by 2. Tiebreaker the same. That ball fooled Killian. Then he apologizes to Luis for some reason. I guess for maybe I don't know what reason. Not giving him a good workout or whatever.
Lucho not only winning rallies, but he's in control just about every shot. He's the guy stepping into every shot. Killian's on the run and diving.
But isn't it funny that everybody said, you know, we don't know how much Luis is going to give Killian tonight, just because of that, how long that match was that you and Luis played, almost 2 hours long, in games that go to 15. So that was the buzz around here. Everybody, especially the older players, were like, well, he's not going to last at all. He comes out here and he's tackling Killian.
You can hear people from behind this broadcast booth underneath the table.
No, I went out into the crowd and
Second serve.
decided I was going to introduce myself to some of these locals. I know it's rare. It's a new season, though.
Okay.
Figured if I don't do it now, I won't do it ever.
Right. Literally.
Which previously was ever until I did it just now.
Yeah. Wish I could have seen that.
Yeah.
6-10.
Now Killian's hit 2 good left-hand serves in a row.
Hold it. Replay,
oh,
replay.
no. I don't, boy, that would have been tough for Luis to get back regardless.
Replay.
Well, you see hinder calls on almost every fly kill. If the
10.
fly kill is not completely flat rollout, for some reason the ref thinks, well, you know, even though the defender is out of position and 20 feet behind, he has this right to just run into wherever he wants. To me, I don't understand that. That's a very difficult shot. Even if you make that, it pops up, bounces into the side wall, and it's a big setup.
10-6.
What was that serve?
Well, it gets a miss. Oh, my.
It shouldn't have, though.
I hear a lot, Dave. Let's see what Luis does here.
Oh.
About
Setup.
players not being in their best form potentially for the first half of the year. And, you know, Killian doesn't have anyone to play. I don't know who Lucho is playing or how often, but it seems the same to me. Every tournament, everyone seems to be about the same. I mean, Danos hasn't played a competitive match, a competitive 4-wall match in 4 months, and he's in the semifinals. hasn't dropped a game yet.
Yeah, I know. It's this
Shorty.
year seems a little bit better than last year. Let's go to Kara, Max. She's on top of her game, though, and seems like she prepared for this tournament, Kara.
Well, you know, you're talking about how long that quarterfinal was for Luis, almost 2 hours. But when he came out of that, we immediately talked to him about Killian coming into the semifinal, and he had a plan. He knew what he wanted to do, and he knows what his strategy is going to be. Take a look.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. We've had some tough battles, but I think where he gets me most of the time is I don't put the ball away enough, like low enough against him. You know, he gets everything back. So the time I beat him here, I was killing everything. So that's kind of what I have to do. I need to just go for my shots a little lower than what I'm used to. I think it's all mental, you know. I just need to shoot it a little more. If I could consistently shoot it at 6 inches, you know, why can't I consistently hit it at 4? So it's more like mental. I'm not aiming low enough. So I need to work on that.
Changing his mentality, he's definitely doing that, hitting the ball hard in there. Back to you guys.
Yeah, you see him more aggressive, certainly.
Well, he's getting more opportunities to be aggressive. Killian's not serving well. He's not returning as well as he normally does, so that plays into it. You can tell yourself to be aggressive, but if your opponent's not giving you any offensive opportunities, then
you're just taking risks while you're trying
Yeah.
to be aggressive, and that doesn't work out unless your name rhymes with Sean Lenning. He's the only one that seems like he can be off balance, out of shape, and be able to hit corner kills. But
now is that other 5th place semifinal not happening? Is that?
it's happening right after this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we're on schedule.
No, I didn't know if that other 5th place semifinal between Sean Lenning and Vic Perez was still on tap.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I heard that Sean was
That was
not
the
going to be
point.
playing.
7 plays
Oh, so
10.
then you've answered my question. It's not happening.
Well, but I don't know, because I don't know if it's official or not.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that's
it
just a rumor.
Would have taken place right now, so.
That's just a rumor. Yeah, but the one that we had scheduled on this court was Martin
8 plays
Mulkerns
10.
and Fergal Coughlin was going to be on 9th place semifinal on this court.
Looking forward to that one.
They played on a
Right up.
side court.
It's too bad. I think you would have really enjoyed that
Unbeknownst
match.
to us.
10 plays 8.
Not to me. I was watching it.
Yeah.
Did you see how many timeouts I took in my match?
So you
That
could
was
go
to
over there and
watch that match.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, because I know you don't like to take timeouts.
Well, when Martin Mulkerns is playing Fergal Coughlin, I do.
Yeah.
All I have to do is take 3 steps and watch, I mean, Martin Mulkerns can rattle off 6, 7 points, not in a main draw match, but in a
plays 10.
playoff match in
during
60
your timeout.
seconds.
During your timeout.
Yes.
So you take 2 timeouts plus you can see all 21 points,
Right.
technically.
Now, if it was in the main draw, I could still see 21 points, but it would just be him getting aced 21 times. Too soon?
A little too soon.
Okay.
Back here, though,
plays 8.
where the match is continuing, it's 10-8, and they've been stuck here for a while, even though it looks like Killian has been getting the better of Luis. The score still has Luis at 10. And Killian is knocking on the door here.
That's a great left. Sets him up for this, and bang. That's the 1-2 combination right there, Dave.
Luis does that shot as good as anybody I've ever seen. That corner kill over there, up high, and he hits it in just a perfect spot.
11 plays 8.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's scored in a while, too. It's 11-8 now.
That's an important point to get, because when you're stuck there on 10 and your opponent is starting this comeback, just 1 point is enough, I think, to get that momentum back and make that 2 points.
Luis starting to feel it a little bit. You can see his legs starting to get a little sloppy, but he still has won the last 2 points.
12 plays 8.
I know he's the number 1, but he feels like the unknown right now in this match, because he did not have a good nationals by his standards, of course, and hasn't really played since. And I don't know who he's been playing to prepare for this, but.
Well, he said on videotape that he's in much better shape than last year starting off the season.
Oh, really?
He said he actually devoted time to get in shape for this tournament.
Oh,
so
okay.
in his own words, unless he's just trying to psych
8
somebody
plays
out,
12.
which I don't, he just usually tells what it is.
Interesting.
He said he's in much better shape and that he actually prepared for this season.
Okay.
That ball sounded like it pop, but that little lip down at the bottom.
Well, Killian gets low there for that shot off the
9
sidewall
place
as well
ball.
as anybody and hits it parallel to the ground. But this left-hand serve just is not working.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my gosh.
Side
Have
out.
you ever
Check the
seen
ball.
that in your life, Dave?
No, but that's a circle the scorecard type shot.
Oh, my.
Because he would be at 10-12 here in game number 1. Now Lucho needs 3 points.
12 plays 9.
If Luis comes and scores right here, that's going to be a huge mistake.
Well, you've changed my probabilities here, and you told me about Killian's preparation, how happy he is with it.
Now look at this, 13-9 now instead
Now,
of.
normally in this circumstance, Luis Cordova an 82% favorite. But when you
13 plays
factor
9.
in playing the number 1 and also the off-season preparation, only a 72% favorite, make that 92.
And look at what happens after that.
14 plays 9.
That sure given 100% shot that Killian hit, and there it is. Luis takes game number 1.
Well, that's how
4
Luis wins
minutes.
close games. He gets 3 skips in a row.
A drop of water for Killian there. A big drop of water.
I mean, 10 seconds ago, we were thinking we were seeing Killian serving at 10-12, kind of making his move,
Right.
talking about his off-season training and whatnot. And now we're not thinking about Killian's off-season training program. We're thinking about
what's going to happen here. The scenarios of if Daniel does well in his match, we could have a repeat. You know, the tournament has been around for a long time. The Peachtree Open, the Ron Cook Memorial. We have Ron Cook Jr. in the building, and Kara Mack spoke with him earlier today. Let's go to that really quickly. Kara?
So this is the Peachtree Open, but the Ron Cook Memorial as well. And we've got Ron Cook with us, but Ron Cook Jr.
Right.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Sure, thanks. Thanks for being here.
Talk about your dad.
Well, you know, we came to Atlanta in like 1980, and he was the master organizer, and he just rounded up all the guys, brought them to the sporting club in Atlanta where we had 16 courts back then. And the Peachtree Open, as he called it back then, had one year, I think, 160 entrants. And so when he passed about 12 years ago, when they renamed it in his honor, I just thought that was just really sweet.
Yeah, talk about what handball has meant to you and your family.
You know, it's been great because when I was a kid and he was still good, we'd play like B doubles, C doubles, and then I'd get better and he'd get older and we'd still do it and push each other on the court, and just, I mean, it's just such a, not just a family thing, but just the camaraderie with the guys. I mean, there are guys here that are like, man, I remember you from when you were 13 years old, and just the brotherhood of it all is just, it's just so wonderful.
To look up there and see your dad's name, what are you thinking?
I just miss the guy. Just wish every time I'm on the court, I feel closer to him. When I miss a shot, I hear him in my ear, and I shout at him sometimes too, but I definitely feel closer when I'm on the court and just miss the guy.
I'm sure being here, you hear a lot of stories. You get a lot of people that just makes you reflect.
I do. Everybody has a story they want to tell me about my dad. He was a loved guy and knew a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a good piece there. Now you know a little bit more about the Peachtree Open and the Ron Cook Memorial.
I'm better for it.
These tournaments happen around the United States, little areas like Lilburn, Georgia, other areas that are in metropolitan surroundings, Chicago, Pittsburgh, New York. We've had events all around this world, but here in the United States, there's handball players everywhere that come out of the woodwork. Sometimes you'll be at a grocery store in a town that you know doesn't even have courts, at least you think there isn't, and then somebody will say, they'll see your handball shirt, hey, I played handball, you know, and you get conversations in far-reaching places. It's an incredible thing.
Or it goes the opposite. I was at a restaurant last night. My dad was explaining how we were here for a handball tournament to the hostess, and she said, cannonball? And I said, yeah, you have to start on a 10-meter, and they actually have a laser to judge how high your splash is off the 10-meter.
Right.
Then she was interested. She wanted to know where it was, what time, okay? She was surprised because, you know, I'm not that big. I'm only 175 pounds. So
And yet you were the world record holder.
well, that I was in the top 5.
Right.
Because how could somebody who's only 175 pounds produce a splash that could compete with anybody in the
Right.
world? And
So
I said,
you just
"It's
went
really-"
along with this the whole time.
Well, it's all about the technique.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, you get on that 10-meter, the tuck,
Right.
the knee.
But you can't
bend.
tuck early, right? Because it slows down your momentum.
Well,
you have
what
to
am
go
I talking
like
to an amateur here? I mean, come on.
Clearly you have to be like an arrow so you can get as much momentum as
First
you
of all,
can,
need to
and
be
then
supple.
you tuck.
On the way down, supple with
Supple.
supple lower back.
Okay.
Let the lower back come in, bend, twist,
Uh-huh.
and then enter with the knees bent. And I do, you know, there's different techniques, but both hands around the knees is what I prefer.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, our #1 player only uses one hand.
That's interesting.
Kind of like a one-hand backhand in tennis. Some use a 2, some use a 1.
I would have assumed
so
it would have been.
she's right now downtown Atlanta looking for this competition.
Oh, you didn't send her here to this facility.
Well, no.
It seemed like you would have, but you didn't. I'm glad that's over with. I would have assumed you would have been one of those, well, not you necessarily, but
All right, time.
one of those hands around the belly. Hands around the belly. The real cannonballers do it like that. The hands
Don't get
around
me
the belly.
started about the belly smack
I
competition. I mean, you want to talk about people who can endure
All
pain.
right, Killian serving second game. 0-0.
Unbelievable. So thankful for that story, actually. All I can say is
1-0.
here's your silver promotion award for promoting the game the right way. You have done the game a service.
Set up.
And that's one of the most tiring things you can do. Dive and then jump up and run straight back to the back wall.
1.
I mean, this is what they do at the football training camps, right? They're on their belly, they're up, they tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to some
1-0.
football practice. I've never seen them do anything. But I hear all I hear them doing is clapping and the coach
Second
yelling
serve.
about, running a slant or something. Those are the kind of good breaks you need right there. Just a pass shot that just merges with the side wall
0-1.
in the deep court.
Hold it, replay it.
I don't know about that being called a replay.
See, that's what I mean.
He breaks around him.
Right.
He knows exactly where the ball's
0-1.
at.
Yes. There's way too many hinders called.
That's why. Let this play develop. If
I
you
wasn't even
watched
sure
that
that
match
Sim
that
shot
you
me.
played against Luis, there were elements of what the referee was doing that was great, allowing you guys to play through
1-0.
some of those things. It just wasn't. It was consistent, and
Short.
some parts were really good, and there was some really bad train wreck moments. But he was
Second
letting you
serve.
play through stuff that I would have like. Are you kidding me? That's like totally a hinder. But you guys never really cared about it. Just the avoidables and some of the other things that were wrong. I just contend that the pro players already know where the ball's going. They don't. It's not really a hinder unless they have to go way out of their way to get around you,
0-1.
or if there's going to be contact. But you guys know.
Set
That
up.
was very good break for Killian.
1-0.
Now, there's no panic in Killian Carroll, right, Dave? Even because he didn't
2-0.
play well in that first game.
No.
I mean, for him, that's a D performance in that first game by his standards.
I don't think he's mindset he's down
0-2.
right now. He just knows that he needs to do what he knows how to do. He's very confident. I don't think there's any panic whatsoever. In fact, if he ever were to panic, it seems like he goes into clamp down even more. I think it works out in his favor.
Hold it,
See,
hold it.
that
hold
that
it.
was a
Sorry.
screen. Killian could not see that ball coming around that
0
corner.
plays 2.
My goodness. Killian is all over the court here.
Well, I think it benefits Killian that he's had 2 relatively easy matches so far, that he can put himself out there like this in this match, because if he would have played a 2-hour match earlier today, I'm not sure he'd be able to be throwing his body around like this. And it seems like he needs to be throwing his body around to, you know,
to stay with Luis right now.
And not make those kind of errors.
0 plays 2.
I mean, if you include the warm-up earlier today, Luis has already played, you know, he's had a 2-hour match if you include his warm-up. I mean,
1 plays 2.
he has to be exhausted.
Well, it didn't feel like he was exhausted playing.
Watching him it was, especially when we did close-up camera angles. He was really huffing, dragging his legs when he was walking.
Set up. Two plays 1.
I have to say, I was so tired in the match and the next match that I actually thought about just quitting. Have you ever been that tired,
Yes.
Dave? You just think, I just can't do this to myself.
Difference between you and me is I actually do quit. No, for me it has to be fun.
Hold it.
I mean, I'm talking about just not finishing out the match and just letting them score. Just absolutely walking off the court. I'm so tired, I can't be in this court anymore.
Yeah, it becomes to the point where it's
1.
not healthy. You know, it's
It
like,
feels
well,
that way, yeah.
it's not fun, but it's again, it's not always about that. But I'm not enjoying myself.
Point.
I'm not doing anybody any favors.
Uh-huh.
This is certainly not helpful for anybody.
Yeah.
3 plays 1.
Time to go.
Yeah.
Side up. One plays 3.
First game goes to Luis Cordova, 15 to 13, 9. That was only off by 4. Not bad.
No. And the rallies Luis has won in this game have been driving Killian to the back left and forcing,
2 plays
those aren't
3.
errors, but they kind of go down on the scorecard as not errors or winners.
But he knows that Killian has a right shoulder issue. Why wouldn't he be pounding harder serves down to that right wall?
Well, to me, the shoulder issue is
plays
more
2.
of a sidearm, waist-high swing. And I think when you start to, wow, what a shot. When you start to get away from your game and start to try and play to someone's
2
either
plays
injury
3.
or perceived injury, sometimes you're now out of your own rhythm. That's nice. That's with authority.
3 plays 2.
That's a good shot.
And Luis did look a little tired there because that ball was up by his standards, and he did not come
4
close
plays
to
2.
it.
He's one of the very best players on tour that can run from the backcourt to the front to dig a ball. I mean, he's a good
Second
artist
serve.
anyway, but that from back to front is very hard to do.
Big setup here. You see he takes a lot off of that. It's hard to take something off kill shots and make them.
Yeah.
But maybe Killian's gotten used to that because he's seems like he's had this shoulder injury since, what, about the middle of the season last season?
It probably started earlier, but yeah.
Well, that's just bad.
I thought Luis is going to take a timeout there after Killian went up 5 to 2, but he got the side out.
Do you think Killian, Dave, was surprised at how much success he had early on the tour? Because basically as a rookie, he was the player of the year. I mean, he started kind of in the middle of the season, the year he won the Players' Championship, his first one in 2016. But his first kind of full season, he was the player of the year. And he's been the player of the year 3 consecutive years. 12 titles.
Well, I think it's more of a question, was he surprised by the success?
Sorry,
instead of did he get surprised? Because I think the the pressure that comes with all that is the surprise, you know, because now he goes, oh, okay, things got really serious here. I thought I was going to go to a couple stops.
Right.
And I thought I was going to try to do the best I can. Now that I see that they're making posters of me, they're doing, you know, now all of a sudden you get surprised by the moment, and it puts a lot more pressure, and then you have to say, wait a second, I'm dedicating my life to this now. You know, now I'm really in it. You don't know if you're really in it until you're in it. You can go on tour for a whole year, but it doesn't mean that you're fully committed. Now he's fully committed.
How many of those bunnies has he missed today? That's 5 that
12,
I've counted.
13, 14.
3 plays 5.
I mean, I've seen way too many. Strangely, if he just lifts that 1 inch, we're talking about him being the greatest player of all time in this tournament.
I mean, that's another one, and that's not by an inch.
Look at him.
That was by.
Have you ever seen him like this before? He's just as frustrated as, that's as frustrated as you'll ever see Killian.
4 plays 5.
Luis took himself out of that point.
And he knows it too. He actually could have got back in there and still gotten it.
5 plays 4.
You know, when you lose your kill shot, it's very hard to find it again. You start hitting them too high. After you've skipped a few easy ones, the doubt does
6
creep
plays
in.
4.
That's a good serve. Great return. You know, you try and fly kill that ball that's dipping off the side wall. It's not easy.
4 plays 6.
You almost have to lift it, and once you do, it becomes a big setup. Oh my.
Oh, Killian.
Just not going to get that shot. It looks like you can, but that ball is just angling away from you at a sharp angle.
You see
5
guys
plays
like
6.
Daniel Cordova, Vic Perez, you taking that exact same shot, that corner left to front or right to front with the offhand.
6 plays 5.
And by offhand, I mean the opposite hand of the corner. So if it's a left corner, you're using your right hand. And you guys do it so well. Is it something you go in and practice, or is it just something that you do? I mean, Luis is one of the best I've ever seen do that. Alan Garner was excellent. Sean
7
Linning
plays
does
5.
it a lot. Killian does it a lot now. But other than the elite, maybe 20 players, I don't see many people doing it.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
It's going to have to wear down Killian eventually.
Well, I think this is really Killian's first match. I mean, he hasn't had to push himself until this match.
Well, Emmett did score 10 off Killian.
7 plays 5.
I thought it was 8 and 7.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I felt like Emmett was within striking distance.
8 plays 5. Five plays 8.
Wow.
Oh my. You don't see Luis shoot a lot from the deep court with his left hand. That one connected.
6 plays 8.
Killian's right on his hip there.
Killian upset with himself again, and that's why.
A lot of back wall setups for Luis Cordova.
7 plays 8.
Uh-oh, miss hit. Surprised Killy didn't turn around left-handed there. Luis gets it back. Killy dives in and almost gets to the front wall. That was really close. Again, amazing rally between the two. How can this even happen?
That's what Luis does.
Yeah, but
I think
look at
you've
this.
hit a rally-ending shot, and he picks it up and re-kills it.
He does get that back to the front
Yeah.
wall. I said almost. I didn't realize it actually hit the front wall. I thought it checked in.
No.
Unbelievable. You should not be losing that rally after making that great shot. that Luis made, but Killy shouldn't have left it up for Luis to get off that back wall kill attempt anyway.
Eight, play 7.
Right back to each other. 4 shots in a row.
Wow. Contact, ref lets him play through it.
Well, the ref has stopped the play way too much, but he didn't stop it there with contact.
Now,
7 plays 8.
a couple rallies back when there was that big back wall setup that was somewhat down the middle, why wouldn't Killy turn around and take that left-handed? He took it with his right hand and left the ball up, and Luis was able to dive in and get it. Why wouldn't, with all that time, wouldn't he just turn around and take it left-handed?
There's another one. You just cannot get those.
Seven plays 8.
I think that Killian brings out the very best in Luis Cordova.
Together
You know,
at
he just
8.
brings his game up to the highest level that he possibly has.
This really looks like Luis Cordova's match right now. I mean, Luis has had 4 setups already in this rally.
I like that. Great aggression right there from Luis. No timeout from either of the players here.
Nine plays 8. Ten plays 8.
I like this aggression from Luis where he's pouncing in on these fly kills. He sees an opportunity and he gets up there really quick. I don't know if that's something he was, I don't remember him doing that against you today. He's definitely doing it against Killian. Unbelievable. You know, you're right. This is a lot like last year.
Feels
it's
like
almost
the same match.
same exact thing.
11 plays 8.
I'm not sure if that one went tiebreaker, but
No, it didn't. 15-8, 15-11 last year. This was
So-
15-9 first game. You know, Luis says
So, yeah,
that when he
timeout?
beat
Okay.
Killian
First timeout. Scores
last year, he
8-11. 1 minute.
killing everything. But I think if he went and watched it, he'd realize he wasn't
it's the
necessarily.
same as he always
Yeah,
has been.
right.
But
And-
to him, it's a kill.
Right, and I think last year he served very well. I think that was the difference for him winning last year, serving down the right. He's not had that great power serve here today, but Killian just does not seem to be defending any serve that Luis is hitting right now. You've seen him hit a lot of balls
8-11.
straight off the front wall that come off the back wall. Really letting Lucho take control of the rally.
Let's take a quick look at the bracket and see how these guys made it to this point. It was Killian Carroll going up against Nick Mattiotti. Killian, he defeated him in 2 straight, and then he faced Emmett Pichot, got past him in the quarters to the semis, and then Luis Cordova was able to get past Lauren Collado, and then he played you earlier today, and that was just one of the best matches of the tournament. Got past you, and now they're facing each other in the bottom bracket. It's Daniel Cordova versus Marco Chavez coming up right around the corner. This could be an all Cordova final,
Play.
or just something new that we haven't
8
seen
plays
yet.
11. Short.
Something's going to happen. One of those scenarios. Something we've seen or something we've never seen.
Second serve.
Big setup here. That's his corner. And Luis is just automatic right now from deep in the court or up front.
11 plays 8.
Doesn't really matter where his positioning is, but when he hits that corner, it seems to be down. There's another one, 12-8. And after that timeout, 2 quick points.
12 plays 8.
Killian needed that. 13-8 is just about insurmountable. 12-8 is not much better
12.
when you've lost the first game.
But serving is good. And just like that, he gets the 9th point.
And that's what Killian has not had a lot of today. First strike kills or aces. The rallies he's winning are 20 or 25 shots.
Wow.
Point.
And now with 3 swings, he scored 2 points.
This might go video replay.
Looked good at first glance.
Yeah, they both agreed. Point.
That was an amazing serve.
10
Luis was
yes.
way off to the left. Even if Luis didn't take that step, I don't know what he could have done.
And look at this, Dave. 5 swings, 3 points.
It's so frustrating.
And remember, the return of serve was also a kill.
11
That got him the
swap.
side out with 1 swing.
Shorts.
And it's all like within 45 seconds, technically.
Yeah. And we haven't seen this from Killian the whole match. We haven't seen him
Yeah, they both agreed.
put together
Second
a string
serve.
of kills, or really even a string of points. Remember, he only scored 9 in the first game. Now Luis is into the rally.
Oh, it takes an unforced error with the offhand for Luis to get back into the box.
12
Although,
plays 11.
if he would have made that, Luis would have been in the driver's seat, I
Yes.
think. Oh, my. He just broke his ankles.
Yeah. Well,
Now-
Killian, with a terrible miss hit on that left-hand kill shot attempt,
13
just
plays
left
11.
it way up. This is a tricky serve. Misplayed it. Match point.
Boy, that took a lot of power to get that ball to do what Luis was wanting it to do there. You heard him let out a little oomph.
14 possible match
And if
points.
he
serves
gets this
11.
last point, Dave, it's going to be a lot of emotion from him. I can tell you that right now.
Second serve.
Let's let the crowd tell us. There it is. Wow.
Nice match.
Well, the upper bracket did exactly what it did last year. The exact same scenario took place here and almost the identical type scores. I mean, the feel of it was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
A little comeback there at the end with Killian Carroll, but certainly that was exactly what we thought could possibly happen. Some people thought that Luis was going to score just a couple points because he had that earlier match today. He came through. Let's go to Kara Mack and find out a little bit more about Killian Carroll and Luis Cordova in that match. Kara.
You absolutely just wound up on that final shot. You knew that. It was just going to be right then and there. You're going to kill it.
Yeah, I know. I have to go for it. I mean, he gets every single thing back, so I knew I had to roll it out or he was going to get it back, and it just landed perfectly.
You came out of that court, took a full-on lap before coming over to me. What's going through your mind?
Nothing. I don't know. I'm just excited to be able to pull it off again. You know, it's hard. Killian wasn't himself today. Like, his arm wasn't feeling well, but still, like, he's won 2 tournaments like that. You know, he won 1 full pro stop serving with his left, so I knew that it wasn't going to be easy at all. So I'm just happy to pull it off.
He comes in with that string of kills. They're kind of creeping up on you, and you're stuck at 12. What's going through your mind at that point, knowing that you have to send this off? You have to get it at that point.
Nothing. I mean, just that I have to close it off. I mean, he started really serving like he normally does in the last 5 points, so I knew he was bringing it on, you know. And when he does that, he gets intense, he gets everything back, he rolls everything, so I knew that it was game time. I had to play. Even though I was tired, I had to play as hard as I could because he was going to do it, so yeah.
Ultimately heading to the finals now tomorrow. How does that feel knowing it's Atlanta? This is one that you really want. Obviously, you want them all, but this one's big.
It feels great. I mean, it'd be crazy if I play Daniel again, you know. That'd be awesome. Do it in our hometown again. It's just great to do half of the feat. Now it's his turn.
Yeah, now I'll let you go clean up a little bit because I know you're going to be here on the sidelines giving him some advice. Congratulations again.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kara. That was a good one, and so far we're halfway there. We have Daniel Cordova now going up against Marco Chavez for a chance to make it the All-Brother Finals Part 2. Until then, though, we're going to take a very quick break, Dave, unless you have any closing thoughts on this one. Nope, we're gonna take a quick one. We'll be back in just a bit, probably 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and we'll have the conclusion of this broadcast day as the last and marquee semifinal. Marco Chavez, 45 years of age, going up against Daniel Cordova. If Daniel wins this, he'll be facing his brother once again 2 years in a row in the final here in Atlanta, where both of them lived last year. Now only Atlanta has our young son Daniel living in its city, as Luis moved to El Paso, Texas. But he said, it's my hometown. So he still considers this his home club. He just moved just a couple months back. So it could very well be that, or we could see the oldest player ever in a Race for 8 final, 45-year-old Marco Chavez. So either one of these things are going to happen, and we're going to find out next. So stick around. We'll be back in just a bit as the ESPN broadcast continues of the Race for 8 right around the corner.
The smallest moments can have the biggest